What's up? Got Twosun. It's in that box. A little bit of spin. Hey, let's get this thing out of here. We're going to check it in, and then we'll check it out. And it's a big knife. Box is heavy. Yeah, look at this thing. Ooh, oily. Oily man, oily man. Yeah, wow, this is a big knife. I knew it was big because the box was bulging. So I knew something was up here. I've got some of these new Twosuns. Man, some of this stuff that's coming from Twosun right now. Look at this. Oh, let's get some focus work going. There we go. Look at this back. Wow. Raw titanium. G10 inserts, both sides. Ooh, this clip. That is thin, man. Thin. Lots of tension. Let's get that blade out. Let's see what's up. Okay. I mean, I know the model number's already on the video, but let's see what we got here. It's a TS435, 14C28N. It's a Wong design. Let's run that action a little bit. Bolster lock. It's kind of stiff. Ooh, the action's stunning. Yeah, the action's really good. Back flipper. Whew, that lock is really hard, man. It's got lots of milling here. Thumb flick's really good. Spidey flick. Yeah, so this lock, I wonder if I can fail it. I'm already going to try it. Yep, just barely though. So the lock is so stiff, but it's got this jimping. So if I go farther forward and get it up towards the front, it's just, I think the natural land place for my thumb is back a little bit. But if I get up towards the front here, it's not quite as bad. That's a formidable piece, man. Wow. This choke up here. Interesting. Very interesting design. Well, let's get in it, but I want to look at this lockup and where this is all landing. And then I want to see it without the blade in there. What I'm looking at is where is this bolster in relationship to the scale when it's locked up to the knife. It looks like it's just outside to inside. Very, very tight lockup. All right, let's get in it. I mean, what a unique design. It's just, I mean, it's kind of a departure from the norms. You know, it's just different. I mean, oh, I'm so descriptive. It's different, right? Come on, man. Maybe I should like play that game. There's a game where I guess if you play the game, your vocabulary increases. It's different, y'all. It is different, though. There's something about it. And now that this is coming apart, I think I'm going to find, yeah, look at the gap now. So this gap, when it was locked up, was way over there. Look at where it's at. So I think I am going to be able to relieve that slightly so it's not so hard to actuate and still have good snappy action. So it doesn't look dirty in here. It is a little over oiled, but not a lot. I mean, kind of standard Twosun setup at this point. Knives are coming, basically pretty clean, and oiled properly, if not a little over oiled, which I don't mind a little over oiled, not a bit. Of course, I don't mind because I'm going to take the knife apart anyways. So, yeah, I'd rather have it over oiled than no oil and corrosion have an opportunity to set in, that kind of thing. But look at the size of this blade, man. That is a big piece of blade stock right there. And these thumb studs, I'm positive, are titanium. Lots of weight reducing milling on these scales. Lots of milling. Yeah, very light. I wonder if this G10 will come out of there. That inlay. Man, I definitely don't want to pry too hard, but with the screws out, I wonder if it's just a simple will pop out of there or if they're glued in. I think I feel it trying to come out. Gotta really be careful with something like that though, because man, you could crack that. Yeah, I mean it's trying to come out of there, and with the amount of oil, I think I would like it to come out. Let me see if I can squeeze any oil out of that. If I can't, I'll probably leave it be. Yeah, see that oil trying to weep out of there? If I squeeze it, I mean, it's just full of oil underneath there. And if I don't get that off and clean that out of there, that oil's just going to continue to weep out. And it's weeping out here too. Oh, dilemma, man. Let me look at the other one. So I might have a spot here to actually manipulate this one. Yep. Boop. Came off super easy. And I needed that one off to remove this lock insert. But yeah, look at all the oil in here. So I am going to continue to pursue this one. Can I get it out of there? I wonder if I try that barrel spacer from the other side. Get it to catch, and it will not. And it's milled really tight. So there's like no place around this edge. And of course the oil under here is sucking it down on there. It's creating tension. Now I was able to get it to move slightly here. Yep. I feel it moving. But of course I'm prying up on this tiniest little space right there. And of course I'm going to run the risk of cracking it. I'm going to get something a little more appropriate. Okay, well, I fiddled around with it, and I can say it is not coming out of there. Yep. So, if it weeps, if I squeeze hard and it weeps on this particular knife, it's just, yeah. See, if I squeeze it, I can get it to, I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, the oil does want to come out from underneath there. I just, for the life of me, I can't figure out. I've got the top to move slightly, but not enough for me to like make any real progress to get it out of there. And so, yeah, see, I wipe, and that oil just comes back and comes back. And it's because it's completely full of oil underneath that scale. But for the life of me, I can't think how to get in there. Like, they've done a really good job of milling that and packing it in there. I mean, I guess I could like drill a hole here and try to not breach the scale completely, and then I could push out. But I think I'm just going to leave it be. I mean, this is a really big knife, so I don't think it's going to get a lot of pocket time, if any. I mean, you know. So, I mean, I'm a collector at Twosuns, not necessarily a big carrier at this point of Twosun knives. So, if I purchase this to carry it, I don't know. Would I press a little more and try to get that figured out? Maybe. If this was going to be like my primary carry piece, I might want that out of there. But again, the little bit of oil that's coming out of there, maybe I'd overlook it, just let it go. I mean, you would think eventually it would stop weeping, right? But if you look at this one, the amount of oil that was under there, it's a bunch, man. Ooh. Yeah, and this one might have been milled a little different. Maybe not. It did have, because of the pocket clip design, it had this cutout on the back where I was able to just push on it and pry it up, where of course this one doesn't have it. There's no place to get leverage on that to pop it up. And it wants to come out. 100% it does. There it is. I mean, how about I just tap it? Golly. Oh, man. I probably spent 10 minutes on it on the backside. Little screwdrivers and, big screwdrivers. I tried, and in the end, keep it simple, stupid. Just a little kiss. Give it a little kiss. A little tappy tap. Dork. I mean, it's a good thing I'm not bothered by looking like a complete fool, because I do it so regularly. You know what I mean? Maybe there's a slight amount of balance. Like, I do show some patience, and I think occasionally a drop of wisdom. It's like, well, I'm just going to be patient here. And so every now and then I'll have a little nugget, and it's like, yeah, that was a good example of being patient and how it pays off. But mostly I just, I just trip, skin my knee, skin my chin on the concrete. You know what I mean? Golly. Goof. Anyway, so, hey, listen, I revealed the complicated disassembly associated with this piece, and it's complicated. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Goof. Yeah, so look, all this milling, that was the other reason I wanted to get in. This one's a little heavier because it's got that metal lock insert. And you can feel it in that scale, but both of these are weight reduced the same. Lots of weight reduction. This one's got a little more weight reduction here than this one, I think. But, wow. Yeah, lots of milling going on there. Might as well, let's take care of this lock real quick. Okay. Whew. These tend to be in hard. Really got to keep a lot of tension down on them because, boy, the last thing you want to do is strip that out, because then once it's stripped out, it's done. I mean, it's done at least to a reasonable level. I mean, I could take it down and drill it out, I guess, if I had to, and come across another screw. But, whew, don't want that to happen. So having good bits and a good driver, the right tools for the job, trying to do that with an inferior bit or an inferior driver might make that tough. So much so that I was like one turn away from getting my little trusty buster. Listen, this thing, it's not fun to use because it doesn't have like the spinner. The bearing spinner, it's cool. And it's comfortable in the hand, and man, I can really twist screws out with that driver. People ask me about this all the time. So, hey, this is from AliExpress. And I think they're like $4. So for $4, I mean, do I recommend it? Yeah. But there's like, I don't know, there's 7 or 8 models of that thing, and it's wonderful. This one I got from Amazon, and there's a link down below for it, and it's got a bearing as well. Nothing like that one. But this one's got a bearing, so you can put it in the palm and you can turn it. So this is a good one. This one provides a better grip. But out of all of them, this one, if I have to crack a screw, provide lots of downward pressure, and then turn it, this is the go-to. There's just something about this design that gives me the most leverage when I'm really having to crack one loose. And so I was working on this one. I keep the T6 in this one because this one doesn't provide near as much torque as this one. This one does pretty good. But man, when I got to bust one, I go to this. And so I was using this one. I was about to switch to this one because this one is very confident to at least bust them loose. Anyway, so there's a little PSO. I was going to say POS. No, PSO, man. PSO. Yeah. All right, so I got to get a flat spot here and hold that down flat and get a feel for the distance from the top of this to the table. And here's what I'm doing. Let me get something flat. This isn't super flat, but we'll use it. So down there on the bench, I'm setting this flat like so. And then I can see how much bend that has in it. And this represents how it sits in the knife. So I'm gonna take some of that out of there. I'm not gonna use this box as my flat, my level. I'll use this tabletop here, but I'm gonna take about half of that out of there. Maybe not quite half, but the distance is represented the same down here. I just know that you can't perceive it up there in the camera. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take my little pliers And I'm going to protect this piece because I don't want to mar it up. And I'm going to get a grip on this piece back behind this cutout. And I'm just going to bend it a little bit. And it didn't take much. I think that bent pretty quick. Let's see what it looks like here with the box. I mean, maybe a little bit come out of it, but not much. So I'm going to do a little more because it's a fair amount of disassembly on this knife to get back to this stage. So I don't, less is more, but let's see what we got. Oh yeah, definitely took some out of it there. Yeah. I mean, we'll run with that. I may have to take it apart and put some back. We'll see. I'm gonna put some back now because looking at it, I think I went too far. Might be able to do it right here with just my hands. I think I was. Yeah, we're quite a bit beyond where that is now. So, all right. Let's get to the reassembly part. I mean, this thing's kind of a tank. On these dual screws like this, I know the tendency would be to just get one and tighten it down, but I do a little bit on each until I'm snug, and then I'll do final little snug on each. And the reason I do that is because I've had these dual screw systems like this and broke one of the screw heads because one screw wasn't enough to manage the tension there. So just a little bit on each, man. And that, I mean, I learned that from a failure. I literally broke the head off of one of those screws, throwing all that tension down. I don't remember cleaning these bearings, so I'm gonna hit them one more time. I think I remember it now, but doesn't matter. Let's get it back together. These two appear to be the same, so I don't think I have to worry about which one's longer. Yeah, they're the same. Okay. How about we put the scale in? I wonder if these are the same. Careful, don't get in there yet. Yeah, they're exactly the same. There's no left or right on these little inserts. Okay, cool. I say that, but yeah, no, that does not go in there. Yep, because the front and the back of these are different. So yeah, they are not interchangeable. And they fit snug. I mean, they both have two screws that hold them down, but yeah, pretty cool. I dig it. Okay. There it is. Nice, hefty pivot pin, no collars. Which, I mean, I like. I don't mind the collars. I've had that conversation way too many times, but I don't mind the collars. I don't mind the Yang Jang logo on them. None of that bothers me. But I do like the clean look with no collars. I really like them when they make the show side look like a rivet with no milling, no machining. But this is a good look too. Okay. Ooh, man, that's running good. These little bearings, they're pretty amazing. You know what I haven't tried? I see people talk about it all the time, is the skiff bearing. I think that's who makes them, the name of who makes them, skiff, I don't know. But I've never tried them. I see people talk about them all the time. But I've never handled a knife that had them. And maybe it's something I should do. Check them out, see what I think. Does it make a difference? I mean, I think that's going to lock up just fine. I'm going to put a screw in here to balance the lockdown from the front to the back, and then we'll check that action before I go any farther, in case I have to take that back off and make an adjustment. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put this other screw in because I felt all of this move when I snugged that screw down, and I see a little gap here in the back. We need that to go away. Yep, right there. Because otherwise it's imbalanced if all that pressure is here and not balanced between the front and the back. Well, that's completely different. Ugh. But no detent now. I think I'm too late. Yeah. I mean, whew, is that slick, but there's no detent. Yeah, see? But man, does it run. It's a guillotine. Yeah, it's completely locked up, and it's just, I mean, you gotta be careful, because that thing, it's a guillotine. That thing will come over and smash my finger. I mean, yeah, but there's no detent. No way that blade stays in there. Yeah. Yeah, there's no detent whatsoever. Look at that. I mean, it's actually kind of cool, but I think I'm gonna put some detent on it. Put some stank on it. Let's just see if it fails, just for argument's sake. Oh, I mean, it's locked up. I don't have to change it. I could leave the guillotine right where it's at. Look at that. Quite the slow roll. Pretty satisfying, actually. But, I mean, it's just there's no detent whatsoever. None. On the top or the bottom. I have to put some back in it. Yeah, it's just, there's none. Look at it. Ooh, it is locked up, though. And it's locked up tight, man. There is no rock in there. It's just, the problem is if you ever put it in your pocket like this, I mean, the blade will just come open, you know. And with tip up, I mean, you probably find it in your pocket like this a lot. Yeah, I gotta put some detent in it. So here we go. Okay, so I just wanted to show. I went to extremes. I added more to this bar, more space in here, more tension than it came with, and the knife still fails. I can just easily just throw it out, and I can barely do this lock. Like when it's locked, I can barely do it. So I'm going to take that back out of there and get it back to where it's comfortable, and that's where it's going to be. But this knife, the detent to hold that blade in, it just doesn't work. But I'll be right back. Okay, well, I mean, we're at a compromise, and I think with this piece, it is what it is. So I took some tension out of it, just to get it so it is functional here, because it wasn't functional. I couldn't function a knife. I had it so tight. And I mean, this thing runs and runs and runs, but it, this is functional now. The lockup's about 40% on it. It's nice and solid. It's not quite the guillotine that it was, but still, once you get it moving, it's drop shut. Easy thumb flick, easy spidey flick, and just, I mean, rock solid. This thing's a tank. And that action. So I would easily say it's A-level action, except there's got to be a penalty for that right there. Because the Detent, I mean, it exists. It's just such a heavy blade. I mean, look at it. It'll suck that blade right in there. It's just such a heavy blade, and it's long. I mean, that's a long blade, so it doesn't take much, especially with this long handle. It's easy to I don't know, get the momentum swinging on the bottom of that and shoot that blade out of there. Am I confident it's going to stay closed in the pocket? I mean, it's got a pretty strong detent now on the bottom end of it. Can I fail it? I'm going to say yes. Yeah, I can fail it. But it doesn't take much to get it to run out there. Ergonomics. Yeah, so I would call it an A action, but I can't. So, I mean, because of this thing, I'm going to say it's a B with an A minor. How about that? Because, man, is it smooth. This thing run smooth. Smooth as Tennessee whiskey. I don't know, something like that. I've heard it before somewhere. Ergonomics. So very comfortable in the hand. I mean, it's got a great shape. These two fingers line up here. These three fit in here, and then this last one on the back, it's got some pretty stout jimping there. Good platform. So, I mean, overall, this is deep enough that I'm going to say this rides right up to a confident grip. This is pretty good. It's got that reverse grip. Not bad. Good platform for the thumb to cap that off. Pretty nice. And it's got a really good choke up spot right here. I mean, very comfortable to choke up here and do whatever you would do there. I mean, as far as cutting with this, that tip's readily accessible. I mean, I'm all the way down to where my knuckles are almost on the table to get that tip engaged. So, yeah, pretty cool. The clip has disappeared in there. And speaking of that clip, I mean, that's a question right there. Because it is thin to win. Look how thin that is in there. I mean, I already know if we do the thin stuff first, let's go there. This is standard jean size material, and it's struggling to get under it. Like, no way it was going to do the thick stuff. Yeah. I mean, this is one of those, man. So if I lift up on it, come on, man. And of course, the grip on this G10 scale is so strong. I'm over here because this back pocket has a sharper edge. There we go. We got over it. But wow, did I have to work to get that. And then, of course, once it's in there, it's tight. But getting it over, part of the problem is, look at the face of that pocket clip. It's almost vertical. It doesn't have much of a ramp. And so trying to get it to run, there it goes. I mean, really that's a force. There it goes. Maybe after I do it a couple of times, it'll figure out what it's supposed to be doing. It just needs to be trained properly. There it goes. Yeah, this stuff here is no chance. So, how deep did that pocket clip go? I didn't even think about it. Let's focus on trying to get it in the pocket. I mean, ultimately, once it's in there, it's not a bad look. It's actually got an old school kind of, I don't know, heavy duty look to that pocket clip, even though it's kind of thin and dainty. Maybe 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch sticking out of the pocket. It is not a dryer pocket clip. Like, you take a tumble, this might not be in your pocket after you're done tumbling. But the reason being is because it is such a girthy knife. It's just a big piece of steel. Safety checks. Yeah, so I can catch that back corner. Look at it. That little back corner. That piece right there. So I can touch it through the back. But I have to try pretty hard. If I just run my finger across like that without trying to dig it in there, I'm not making contact. Although you can see how prominent that little pointy part is. That probably could be sharpened off that blade pretty easily. What about the tip? The tip's recessed in there good enough. There's no way to contact it. So the clip, not a meh, but a yeah, it's not great, man. And then this little bit of contact here. I mean, I got to note it because if my finger, I don't know that I could cut myself on it. So, I mean, I'd say okay, pass, and this clip, man. It's like, all this millwork, design work, and then a clip that's, and it's milled into the titanium. It's one screw, but it's actually recessed into the titanium, not this G10. So I do appreciate that. And I mean, so I don't know, final impressions on this thing. We'll do price and availability. It's a beast. It is a tank. I mean, if you needed a work knife, this thing could suffice. The problem is, how are you going to carry it? Because trying to get this in and out of your pocket one-handed, I mean, I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to try it in the pockets that I'm currently wearing and see how difficult it is to get in and out. Okay, so it's just not a one-handed clip. If I use two hands and pull my pocket and push, it'll go down. So price and availability on TS435. Okay, currently three opportunities at the time of filming this for this knife, this TS435. So White Mountain Knives has this currently in stock for $109. So with the 10% off, it puts you down to $99, like 98 and some change, I believe. DWin 99 has a live auction going for these currently. So you could play the live auction game. And then the sixleaf LI seller has these at a fixed price sale, discounted down to $92 with a best offer deal. And so the one that I'm going to link below is the sixleaf best offer sale. So it's currently $92. They're asking for it. That's discounted down, I believe, from the same price that White Mountain Knives had it. And then a best offer. So, I mean, on those best offers, you have 5 shots. So, I mean, you could make an offer and they could reject the offer, and you could make 4 more offers. Obviously, up to the $92 that they're asking for it. So, I mean, I think I would be reasonable. I mean, what would be a reasonable price to come in at on this? I don't know. 14C, bunch of titanium, and it is a chunk of knife. So, I mean, could you take another 10% off of that $92? And get it down to, what is that, $83? I don't know. I know that you have five offers that you can make on this to the sixleaf LI seller, and I'm going to link their eBay page down below. So, hey, click in, check it out. What a marathon video. Appreciate you hanging. All right, I better add the blade. Is it sharp? I mean, it needs a strop, so let's do that. All right, couple of passes, you know. And then, what do we got? Yeah, how about it? All right, I just couldn't leave it without adding that. All right, now, I appreciate you watching.